creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Because like even Michael Jackson, he talked like real deep ass voice like that.
Really?
Hell yeah. Yo, what's up, man?
No, he
What's
did
up,
not.
man?
Promise,
That's
bro.
one thing that I cannot believe. I've seen
Promise
Michael.
you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
I promise. We kick it, and I go over his house, and Eddie Griffin don't tell me where he's taking me, and I look up like, what the f? Yeah, it's Michael Jackson, bro. Hey, what's up? You from Detroit? Oh, I love Detroit. You do? Nope, but I'll do something with you, huh? Yeah, let's have some fun. I heard somebody say, "Come to the back." One of his helpers in his house was like, "Mr. Jackson, you got a phone call." He went in the back, and we heard the deep ass voice. What the f? Nigga, f that shit. Well, I was like, what? And then he came back out and was like, "Yeah, so." And then I was like looking at him like, "What?" And then he said, "Doesn't matter, Carlos. It doesn't matter who you tell. They won't believe you."
Hey, you know, T-Pain, he said the exact same thing. Wow. Brazil. This is in Brazil, folks. Oh, look at that. The girl is so courageous, my type of woman. The only thing that scared me was the room. Let's clean up now.
Trying to silence this guy and make him look psycho because he's exposing a $500 billion industry. Listen to what he has to say.
God created you so powerful that your teeth are like crystals. Please don't go to the dentist and don't have any teeth pulled. Listen up. I don't care how severe that cavity is. When you have a cavity that's about to fall out or it's already rotten and severely discolored, just use this SP8. It's the only product that contains 8 kinds of probiotics. It can eliminate oral inflammation, repair cavities, reverse tooth decay, remove dental plaque, easily restore tooth enamel, and fight gingivitis within 3 to 5 days. Your crystal-like teeth deserve to stay in perfect condition. Why trust dentists who only want to make money from you? SP8 is a better choice. I've put the official link in the lower left corner, and the price is cheaper than ever before.
Really? Let me know how you feel about that, folks.
Notorious drug lord is among 29 Mexican cartel members handed over to the U.S. in what's thought to be the biggest extradition in Mexico's history. This comes after President Trump threatened Mexico with tariffs in order to crack down on drug trafficking. Infamous drug lord Rafael Caro Quintero was wanted for the murder of an American agent over 40 years ago and had a $20 million bounty for his arrest. The U.S. Department of Justice also revealed prosecutors are considering charging the cartel members with terrorism alongside drug trafficking and homicide.
Does he have a gold card? Ooh, the Epstein file. Finally, the Epstein files. You know, Trump been president for like 5 weeks and he's got more done than the last 8 combined.
Will make you sick. 200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information, but it's pretty sick what that man did, along with his co-defendant.
Every time I say gorillas share 98% of our DNA, y'all either call me an idiot, an atheist, or a monkey. Well, I'm gonna prove it. With funny. This is Hauko the gorilla. You see, Hauko had a problem. He's a proud father of 4 who loves nothing more than to play with his children. Because it's actually scientifically proven that gorillas find the nurturing, child-raising males more attractive and not really the aggressive bully types. Hauko knows ball, but the problem was his baby mama wasn't always too eager to have the 500-pound silverback handle such a tiny baby. So in all of Hauko's infinite gorilla wisdom, he came up with a solution. He kidnapped her. Repeatedly. Really gonna tell me you don't see the 98, bro? Even tried to knock over the crate as a diversion. Also, I just want to point out all that movement, yet the baby remains still. That's perfect form. He's done this before. Hauko would do this with all his children, proving my scientific theory correct. This a game to him. I mean, just peep the 500 pounds of primate swerve bend that corner. Whoa. And if you still don't believe the hype, Hauko also has a brother, Shabani, and Shabani has been trying to get the attention of his crush for years with no luck. So one day he decided to just go for it. And you're watching it happen. Gorilla or not, we've all been him at some point. Yo, I got a girl and I still be on this. I will say this though, it went a lot better than his first attempt. God bless you, Shabani. And fun fact, Shabani would go viral for boosting ticket sales because women genuinely found the gorilla attractive. No, I'm not kidding. They were calling him Gorilla George Clooney. No comment. And if you're still not convinced, I challenge you to watch this video and think otherwise. Please. The more you know.
For real, they're smarter than we think. They just don't want to pay taxes.
Thank you. Have a good night. You'll be okay.
Gosh. Woo.
Here's your stuff.
American police.
Okay. Start walking this way.
Don't push me.
Shut the down.
What?
Start walking this way.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
We're escorting you outside because you can't go without assaulting my partner.
Me, I assaulted you.
Yes, you did. You're okay.
Okay, this is terrible contact. This is contact.
You'll be okay. This is outside.
You're gonna be reported.
This is outside.
FBI is overseeing this and how you are.
Thank you. Have a good night. You'll be okay.
Oh, God. What happened is her head hit the pole. You know, this woman allegedly assaulted an officer partner, and their response is to assault the woman in retaliation. Easiest lawsuit ever.
My name is Jeremy Hopper, and it's nice to meet y'all, to anyone who sees this. But, I'm the last member of my family left. There ain't nobody else. They passed away. I'm 27, and my mama died before she was even 40. My baby brother and baby sister both passed away as infants. And today I realized that if anything were to happen to me today, not a single person on this earth would know I was gone. And I truly doubt anyone would care. And I want some record that I existed, that I was here.
Let's pray for Jeremy. Lord, comfort Jeremy in his sorrow. Let his family's love live on through him. Fill his heart with peace and hope. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Who needs enemies when you have a mom like Ash Trevino? In the past few weeks, the internet has collectively band together to get a CPS case opened on a TikToker named Ash Trevino. She is 36, she has 2 daughters that are 16 and 13, and she believes that the internet is unjustly trying to get them taken away from her.
They're really trying to get my kids taken from me, and it's not gonna happen. Do you know how many CPS cases I've had on me, and I still have custody of my kids? For those of y'all that love to call CPS on me, y'all do understand, you have to have proof that my kids are in harm's way, y'all really have to have proof.
So here is the list of proof that netizens have gathered against Ash Trevino. One of the main things CPS workers are looking for is kitchen and food availability. Food options like fruits, vegetables, dairy, and proteins to ensure proper child nutrition. Ashley does these massive grocery hauls. She will spend nearly $800 at the grocery store and just come home with different variations of hot Cheetos and sour candies. Ashley is a mother, and it's typically a natural want for parents to want to feed their kids fresh, healthy meals that are nutritious. But if she does not have the financial resources, that's one thing. But she is spending $700, $800 on chips and snacks during these grocery hauls. In another live stream, her kids are talking about how they want Ashley to make food for them tomorrow, and she's shocked.
Oh, y'all want me to cook tomorrow?
She gives both of her kids a death glare, like they have asked her to sacrifice her life for a bag of tennis balls. The next thing CPS looks for are appropriate sleeping arrangements. When Ash is doing a live stream, she's showing off her apartment. She does a quick peek into her daughter's room. They share a room, and netizens are very quick to point out, wait, just a singular air mattress in the room for both of her daughters to share. And again, not being able to afford proper furniture for children is not something that parents should be ashamed of. It's very difficult to provide the necessities these days, but Ashley should be ashamed. It's estimated that on her live streams, in gifts, donations alone, she brings in around $1,000 to $2,000 in a singular day. She's constantly on TikTok lives doing these hauls, and she opens up her Balenciaga slipper box and she's aggressively showing the Balenciaga tag to the camera. She just buys a giant sized duffel bag but uses it as a purse. She just always has it like on the crook of her elbow. She said she paid $3,000. I guess she paid that much to look ridiculous, so clearly she can afford a bed. It is expected by CPS that parents provide a safe environment for their children. Interactions between family members are evaluated to identify potential signs of emotional or physical abuse. In another live stream, she asks her daughter, "Do you want lip fillers?" They're 13 and 16. I wouldn't feel comfortable with my mom asking me that. I would feel pretty insecure.
Do you want lip filler? No, my lips are actually big. They're not that big, baby.
Oh man, wow.
Let me see.
In another clip, she's talking to her kids and they're arguing. "I have an A+ in every class." "No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you're not. You're not. You're probably barely gonna pass anyway, literally." To which comments read,
Ash wants to be a teenager again so bad.
Rule number 1. And the
Okay, by the way, she just said, shut the F up.
reason why is not to be vulgar. It's because it helped me so much. Because the more you talk, the more you reveal, the more people know, the more you solicit, the more people share with you, the more you get confused, the more indecisive you are, the more. And when I learned to stop, self-regulate, not to shoot my mouth off because I was offended. You can only get offended, first of all, if you allow yourself to get offended.
Yep.
There are times that people are gonna cross you and disrespect you. Yes. But like, how often can you be offended? And also, there's times like, who cares? Like, I don't have to have everybody's respect.
Yep.
That's another exhausting thing. You need to respect me and you need to disrespect me. He disrespected me and I'm Greek. It's a big thing. Like, oh. But that's gonna wear you out. And you don't need it.
The older I get, the more I realize people only know what you tell them.
We were scammed, which meant that we've lost our savings, which is, you know, scary because I'm on maternity leave. But I wanted to do this video so that other people learn from our mistakes. I know people are going to be like, why are you so stupid? It's obvious, it's a scam. But I think just sometimes in the moments you don't realise it. And I'm not doing that video to say we weren't stupid. I'm doing this video so other people just don't make the same mistake. My husband got a call from someone with no caller ID that had said, "Someone's hacked your account, we need to act fast." I get a text from my husband saying, "I'm on the phone to our bank account, don't worry, I'm sorting it. They've alerted us, they've blocked it." Then I get a text message from my husband saying, "What are your card details?" I just send them over without thinking, and then I was thinking, surely the bank knows what my card details are. Then he calls me and says I need to approve a payment. And I go, "Oh, that sounds weird." And he said, no, I know it sounds weird, but basically we need to move our money into another bank account so that it's safe. And alarm bells started ringing in my head. And I was like, "Pete, this doesn't sound right." And on our bank account, it says, "We are not trying to call you." And I said, "Pete, why does it say that?" And he said, he told me they're making that alert for the person who has access to our account. So that they don't know what's happening. And I was like, no, that sounds dodgy. Why would they say we're not trying to call you? Anyway, stupidly, I approved this payment. As soon as I clicked approve, I was like, Pete, that doesn't make sense. This doesn't sound right. Basically, we have just paid someone all of our savings. And it was silly, it was stupid of us. Sorry, I had to take a pause from filming. I was getting a little bit upset. And I apologise if I'm going all over the place. Basically, to summarise, how we fell for this scam was Pete got a call and said that our account was hacked and someone was trying to spend all of our savings. So Pete followed the steps from the guy, and they seemed to know a lot of details about our account and how much was in our savings. So it seemed legit. As so Pete followed the steps because the guy said he was going to move our money into a different safe bank account. Just so everyone knows, a bank would never, ever call you with no caller ID, and a bank will never want you to move your money to make it safe. On a lot of banks, on the app, you can go into the help section and they will say when your last call was. And you know, if we would have known that at the time, we would have been able to see that our bank wasn't calling us. And I know money isn't everything, just bad timing. And you're the most important thing, really, aren't you? And yes, you know, it was stupid of us. We feel stupid. So I just want to share this, save it, share it. I just don't want people to make the same mistake and lose their money.
Golden rule, say thank you, I'll contact the bank myself and hang up. Absolute golden rule.
Tu nombre?
Rosa Galindo Araiza.
On December 26, 2024, a chilling video surfaced online. It featured 37-year-old Rosa Isabel Galindo blindfolded and wearing a white cowboy hat with the letters MF. And for those unfamiliar, MF stands for Mayito Flaco. He is one of the sons of veteran Sinaloa cartel boss Ismael El Mayo Zambada. In the video, members of Los Chapitos, a faction of the Sinaloa cartel led by the sons of El Chapo Guzman, interrogate Rosa. They demand her name and the reason for her capture. With a trembling voice, she reveals her identity and explains her so-called crime. Unlike typical cartel videos where the captive is accused of smuggling or betrayal, Rosa's offense was an act of kindness. You see, guys, she had twice provided food to members of a rival faction, La Maíza, out of compassion. She also mentions that her sister Nayeli Galindo also assisted in feeding these individuals. Sadly, what she saw as an act of kindness, they saw as betrayal. Upon discovering her actions, Los Chapitos hitmen waded into her birthday, located her, and abducted her. In the video I showed you earlier, it cut to black, but Rosa's suffering didn't end there. Off camera, she was savagely beaten, and then with a single gunshot to the head, they erased her from existence. Guys, her lifeless body was discovered the next day beside a dirt road in Rosario, Sinaloa. Rosa ended up leaving a young daughter behind, and the daughter is now an orphan. If you want to listen to more Mexican true crime stories like this, then like and follow.
Man, Mexico needs to do what El Salvador did. No one should be living in fear. Rest in peace, Rosa. Peaceful protesting. Check this one out. Oh man. AI. Zelensky is a chicken and wouldn't dare this.
You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's backed you far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Let's start from the beginning. Sure. First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
Did he say you know nothing of war?
We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
Zelensky tried to manipulate Trump. Come on, he's not Sleepy Joe. Looks like the spear in Vegas. Oh my goodness, look at that. You should see what happened to Brazil after the carnival. People died. Jesus is king.
Yes.
Wow. You know, her nuts means a lot. I'm so emotional.
This looks scary. It's by far the best horror trailer I've seen all year. And it's a horror movie you should be very excited about.
No.
Because this movie is the next installment from the Philippou brothers, and if you know that name, it's because they directed Talk to Me. And Talk to Me is by far one of the scariest films released in the past 5 years. This trailer looks scarier and it looks darker. There are a few things as to why I love this trailer and why I'm excited about this film. This movie looks dark. It looks much darker than Talk to Me, and Talk to Me is a very dark film. I love that this trailer is hardly giving anything away aside from the fundamentals of what this film is supposed to be about. And even then, the information is quite sparse. It's giving off found footage, it's giving off exorcisms, it's giving off possession. It looks like they're going a lot deeper into the kind of art house side of horror, even more so than they did with Talk to Me. And if the movie really does match the vibe of this trailer, I think we're in for a wild ride, and I think we can assume that Bring Her Back is going to be one of the scariest films released this year. I know I've said this before, but this is my most anticipated movie of the year. It looks incredible.
Okay. You know, planets all lining up to look at what a joke Earth is.
Over $200 million in cash was seized from Yegan's mansion, marking the largest cash seizure in Mexico. Jinli Yegan, born in Shanghai, China in 1963, Yegan became infamous in 2007 when his company's front for meth precursor imports was uncovered by Operation Dragon, revealing his double life as a businessman and suspected drug lord. Yegan was the Sands Hotel's top gambler, losing $157 million, which authorities suspected was a cover for laundering money for the Sinaloa cartel through high-stakes poker games. The U.S. case against Yegan collapsed despite evidence, including chemical imports linked to meth production, due to key witness retractions and no actual meth discovery, questioning his purported drug kingpin status. Yegan claimed a Mexican official coerced him to hide cartel money for Mexican President Calderon's campaign. Yegan fought extradition for 9 years while incarcerated in the U.S., but was extradited to Mexico in October 2016.
They just want his money instead. They don't care about meth, as their GDP is depending on this addiction.
Let's just say Russia has some of the craziest stories.
Wild.
Some old Earth there. But there's this lake there called Lake Baikal.
Baikal.
And it is I found this out. The deepest freshwater lake on Earth.
How deep?
Over 5,000 feet deep.
That's almost 2 miles.
She guessed at nothing.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's crazy. 5,000 feet.
Yes.
One
How
mile.
big is it?
It's
Like
huge.
okay.
You should look it up.
It's
Well,
crazy. You could just be on a
You're going to
boat.
hate this lake even more.
Good. Let's go. But it's down there.
You're about to find out.
1 mile.
No.
1982.
Okay.
This is a classified document that got released to the public in 2000. Was it 2000? Yeah, 2000. And it was in the Soviet government, like a classified document. So these Soviet divers in 1982 were doing these diving routines or whatever in the lake, in Lake Baikal. And they're down, was it 52 meters or something? 50 meters, 164 feet down. And then all of a sudden, out of the depths, they said there were these 6 humanoid creatures, and they described them as wearing these tight, metallic-looking suits, 9 feet tall, and wearing like these like weird jelly helmets.
So they're just floating in the water.
They just come up as they're they're like here, and they just come up.
Scariest possible thing you could see at that moment, for sure.
And what these divers decided to do, apparently, as like a what the heck is that? They like had a net or something, and so they tried to catch one of them, and then like all these things did something to where it caused this force field and shot all these divers up to the surface like almost instantly. They all got the bends.
Oh no.
It was 7 divers. 3 of them ended up dying.
Oh my gosh.
And then the rest were basically silenced from ever speaking about what happened.
Why? Because they were so traumatized, or they were
No, it's
bends,
classified.
Oh, I see.
Like so, like it was like the Soviet Union did not want anyone to know what they saw.
So who was this team? Who like
just these Soviet Navy divers?
They are from the government, the
Yes.
Soviet government.
And they're
God.
down there, and these humanoid creatures came up, tried to catch one, and then they just like boom, got shot up to the surface.
That's terrifying. Do you think that's the first time they ever went down there?
No.
I was gonna say because that seems like a test, almost like
Yeah.
Let's send
Well,
these
there-
guys down there.
There's reports even today of craft coming out of the lake, like in orbs and stuff coming out of the lake, and also people constantly disappearing around the lake,
Yeah.
which would make sense. It's a huge lake. I mean, ginormous, and it's in Siberia. It's very remote, and it's one of the deepest lakes. It's typically frozen the good majority of the year, but apparently, I think this was a story too from the same lake. Like it's so big that they're actually able to test submarines within it. And this one submarine on their sonar picked up these objects. I think it was actually 6 objects that were coming towards them at like, they said it was like 400 miles an hour. And so they turned, and it like matched the path of the submarine.
And they're watching it on the screen.
On
They're
the
following.
sonar. It was like in a formation.
Yeah.
And they're like, go up. And so the submarine breached, right? They came up to the surface, and then they used what do you call it? The little
telescope thing? Yeah.
I forget what it's called. The thing that they look out to see the surface. And these things just popped up out of the water and just shot off in the distance.
Okay, 1 mile is 5,280 feet.
So nobody noticed. Nobody noticed the massive UFO that came over by the pyramid and then just left. Like everyone was paying attention. I even went through the comments. All the comments. That's a lie. I did not go through all the comments. I got distracted after about 30 seconds. I have a very low attention span. Anyways, I looked through it for 30 seconds. Not one person noticed the UFO. Not one. And it was not a small, it wasn't like an orb. It's not an orb. I'm going to show you, don't worry. But it's not an orb for entertainment purposes only. I almost forgot to say that, and I would have gotten it taken down and banned from TikTok, and that would have sucked. It is not an orb. That is totally not, just watch it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So everyone was so focused on the rave which looked great, by the way. I would love to do that, like rave at the pyramids. That's pretty cool. Some people were like, it's disrespectful. You know, there's also landfills all around the pyramids too. So we could talk about disrespect all day. It looked like a really great party. I get it. I get that everyone was distracted by it, but there was definitely a UFO. So I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, thank you, lady.
And I'll tag the original creator below. Okay, love you, bye.
Speaking of the ocean,
Yeah.
have you guys ever heard of the doomsday fish? It's called a deep sea oarfish. They can grow up to like 36 feet long. They look like aliens. They're the freakiest looking fish.
Dude, they're big.
I'm
Like,
they're 36 feet long.
I know, but like long, but like they're,
Oh, yeah.
they're freaking
They're
huge.
like
Yeah.
36 feet?
That's what they can grow up to. They just spotted one in Taiwan recently coming up from the bottom of the ocean. They call it the doomsday fish because for hundreds of years, whenever the people of the Japan, Taiwan, all these islands and stuff, when they would see this fish, something terrible would happen.
Oh, no.
So the last time these fish came up and washed ashore, that giant tsunami hit Japan. This one was just spotted in Taiwan, I think this past week. But it also had these
It's
like really
beautiful.
weird, mysterious looking holes in it.
I just saw that. It was so scary. There's so much happening. Mother's a deep fish oil.
Said oar.
Continue.
You said oar,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I said oar. Continue.
The O was
Dude, those
silent.
look so creepy.
Yeah. When I say Alexander the Great was potentially Nephilim, it starts off with his mother, Olympias. She was married to the king of Macedonia, and she believed that he was half god.
Oh.
Because her story to Alexander was that he was not the son of Philip II, but was the son of Zeus Ammon. And so that's how Alexander the Great was conceived. And so Alexander the Great believed he was half god, half deity. But the stories of this legend of what he did was just like undefeated, so wise on the battlefield, conquering everything. He went out throughout the entire world and collected all this hidden knowledge and brought it back, created Alexandria, and that's where the library was formed. But even the ancient Jews and Muslims have this story of Alexander fighting the Nephilim and containing them because he wanted to be the one to defeat all of them. He's in Babylon, and then all of a sudden he's struck an ill and then just dies. But where the crazy theory part comes into place, this conspiracy part, is they said that his body laid exactly the same and didn't decompose for over 6 days because he potentially had this
Nephilim
Vatican
DNA.
Yeah, and so they built him this elaborate golden casket, and they were going to bring him back to Macedonia. And on their way there, it got hijacked and went to Alexandria. Ever since then, no one knows where his tomb is. There's these theories that are out there that either the Vatican is somehow involved with the stealing of his tomb,
Typical.
or the Knights Templar.
Okay, yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe there are many more Nephilim. Their DNA figure out the quirks and now they just appear normal.
The government said aliens are in the ocean, and now we're seeing every one of them in the air. What if aliens are not coming down to us? They're actually trying to leave.
Yeah, I heard that theory.
Yeah, because it makes sense, because in the forest, if fire burns down the forest, the instinct of the animal is to leave. So all aliens we're finally seeing, because they're finally coming up from the ocean. That's where they're going, fam.
Because theory is, what if there's something already set for the world, whether it be it expands into a different reality, shit just gets destroyed. But I feel like that theory with the aliens leaving, I think it holds true because it does feel like people are getting ready for something.
Yeah.
And whether it be asteroid, whether it be just like even war, something is coming, and it's kind of inevitable. I don't want to like manifest it. I don't want to like put that out into the world.
And all I'm gonna say is be careful what you believe. Like if the Project Bluebeam says that something will come down to save us, and then that's the one we praise. Remember, believe the right thing. You know what I mean?
The second coming of Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, my King.
Think that someone sat in a room and that people discussed the best ways to get people to comply?
Yes. Oh, yes. I would bet my career. Because it was executed following textbook protocol. And there are these, I made a YouTube video on my channel of like how to spot psyops, and there's like 20 different little things. You only need one thing, and you can spot whether or not you're standing in the middle of a psyop. That one thing is, if the opinion that's coming out needs people to be silenced, it's a psyop. There are psychological operations in play.
Wow. So if you can't question it, if you're supposed to just go along, it's a psyop.
Yeah, and if people have to be silenced, or publicly shamed because of their information, and they're not telling people the sky's falling. They're not saying crazy shit. They're just saying basic stuff, and they need to be silenced. That is a psyop. No matter what, you can go back in any time in history during a psyop of our country, and if people needed to be silenced or shamed publicly, which is like the tribe, right? That's why public speaking is our number one fear for humans. It's not a fear of speaking, it's a fear of judgment. Right. So I'm just putting the threat of judgment up there. That is a psyop. So if people have to be silenced, and there were Harvard doctors kicked off of the internet or kicked off of Twitter for this stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Stanford, MIT. Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. The Great Barrington Declaration. People didn't agree with exactly how the government was handling everything, and they were silenced. And they were treated like fringe quacks instead of respected physicians. And it was openly discussed in emails. That's what's really crazy. They talked about the strategy of silencing these people, and then you had the actual government itself contacting Twitter, trying to get people removed, which is wild.
Yeah, and didn't you have Mark Zuckerberg on? He talked about
yeah, he talked about Facebook doing it, about the FBI contacting them. It's crazy to believe, but my hope is that people have learned from this past 4 years, and that this is an eye-opener.
Didn't see one biohazard bin to dispose of used masks, and didn't see one commercial on hand washing.
The truth and the untold narrative about dogs. Unlike the cats, dogs are not interdimensional beings, but they are divine. In ancient Kemet, dogs were depicted as the image of an ancient god by the name of Anubis, who was the god of the dead and the god of mummification. We shall come back to that. Dogs protect us physically, while cats protect us spiritually. Now, dogs are the only animal who has a direct telepathic connection with human beings. They are able to read your mind, to read your vibration, your feelings, and to read your emotion. And that is why every time you feel sad, you feel depressed, and you feel like you are down, your dog will be coming to you to comfort with you. Now, these are 5 strange facts about dogs that probably you didn't know. Number 1, when you meet a stranger dog and that dog starts following you, that means that your magnetic field is stable and you are emitting positive energy. Number 2, when you meet a dog and that dog starts barking at you while running, that means that you are emitting negative energy. Number 3, when you meet a black dog roaming during the middle of the night, that dog is there to give you a warning, to tell you that something bad is about to happen.
Ooh.
Number 4, dogs are able to sense witchcraft. Dogs cannot stay in a place where there is witchcraft. A place where you see dogs disappearing, there is witchcraft going around that place. And number 5, and the most important one, dogs are able to sense death even before the real death manifests. And this is how they communicate that message. Every time you look at your dog will be looking you with sympathy while crying real tears. Now that dog is telling you that nothing good is coming your way. And that is why even in the ancient Kemet, the god of the dead was depicted with the image of a dog. When you rearrange the name dogs, it is going to give you the name gods, because they are divine. Now you know.
Yeah.
You know, I heard a story in one of the village here that dogs were crying overnight, and the following day you will hear someone has died.
Another documentary about a serial rapist billionaire. This might be one of the worst ones I've ever seen. It made me want to vomit the entire time I was listening to these women say what this foul man did to them. This goes into the brutal rape allegations of Mohammed Al-Fayed, the former owner of Harrods, the luxurious department store. If you're always looking for something to watch, make sure to hit follow because I post daily. This man would organize for a doctor to come and do a surprise exam and STI screening of the women who worked at Harrods. Why would you need to make a woman who works in the makeup department do an STI screening? Because he was planning on raping them. Dozens of women go into what this man did to them, and it is foul. He would invite them over to his apartment, and then he had a remote that would lock the doors behind them. This old crusty ghoul would then emerge in a gown with his schlong showing through. And then he would proceed to brutally essay them. They just wanted to be a buyer or work in the department store. Oh yeah, and some of them were underage. This guy is featured in the show The Crown. Get rid of him. Get rid of everything that has to do with him. We don't want him.
It's on Prime if you want to see it.
Hi guys, this is going to be a very controversial video, but it needs to be said. Did you know the Harbour Bridge was never actually built? It has always been there.
What?
They lied to you and said the bridge was built in 1923. That is incorrect. The bridge is much older than they say it is. The bridge was already here when the first fleet arrived. Also, there was a gully under the bridge with the old city in it, going back to Tartarian days, which makes it over 10,000 years old. This is a rare film. It was filmed in 1910, 13 years before the bridge officially opened.
Huge steamers, gay yachts,
Ooh, look at that boat.
sprightly speedboats saluted the bridge from beneath. The dream was realized at last, claims the greatest and heaviest arch-type bridge in the world. Although 25 inches shorter than the Kill Van Kull Bridge, New York, it is 160 feet wide as against the Kill Van Kull's 90 feet, and its arch alone contains 37,000 tons of steel as against the Kill Van Kull's 16,000 tons.
The bridge was officially opened to traffic in 1910. It was customized and some things were changed to allow for oncoming traffic. Thanks for watching guys, stay tuned.
If it always been there, then did the dinosaurs have paid the toll fare to cross the bridge?
I'm just here to experience the awe and majesty of God's creation. Check this out.
This baby, how many years?
8, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33. This is 33 years. That's my entire life right there.
Wow.
One of the most asked questions here is who filmed the craft leaving the moon in 1972? Who filmed the Apollo 17 lunar module leaving the moon? NASA says it was a Westinghouse color TV camera mounted on the lunar rover and remotely controlled from Earth. This happened in 1972 during the final Apollo mission. According to NASA, an operator at Mission Control in Houston anticipated the launch, manually tilting the camera upwards to follow the ascent, despite a 1.3-second delay in signals between Earth and the moon. But here's where things don't add up. How did a NASA operator perfectly track a rocket launch with 1970s technology and a delay? Even modern space feeds struggle with lag today. If the camera had a pre-programmed movement, why don't we see this level of precision in modern space missions? And what about the lunar dust? Why wasn't there a massive cloud kicked up by the engine blast? Then there's the power source. The camera was battery-powered, using silver zinc batteries. But how did they survive the extreme lunar temperatures and function flawlessly at the exact right moment? And what happened after the lunar module left? NASA says the camera kept broadcasting for about 4 minutes before they lost the signal. Forever. They never got that signal back. No more live footage was ever transmitted from the moon. No other camera was left running, and we've never seen high-quality continuous footage of the moon after Apollo ended. Convenient? And the final point, just look at it, please. Look at it. So, was this an incredible technical achievement or something else?
Remotely controlled from Earth in 1969. I cannot remote control my TV from the next room in 2025.
There's something really suspicious that happened recently involving a pseudonymous programmer that really needs to be exposed right now. They call themselves Hugh Lezai, and they recently donated $2 million of Ether. Yes, literally $2 million of Ether to WikiLeaks with an on-chain message claiming some really serious shit. You don't send $2 million worth of fucking crypto to WikiLeaks for just any reason, okay, people? But here's what the claim said. The on-chain message claimed that the Chinese military is using nanocomputer chips to control citizens. But this is what Lezai specifically alleged in that on-chain message. They said that brain computer chips have been deployed militarily on a large scale. But that's not it, because Lee Zai's on-chain message also accused 2 hedge fund executives, specifically at Quant Investment, better known as Wizard Quant, those executives being Feng Zhen and Zhu Yuzai, of using similar brain-computer weapons to control their employees. But Lee Zai also claims to have been a victim of brain-computer weapons since they were born. Lee Zai first wrote to WikiLeaks on February 10th, warning them of a new mode of crime, in which the victim becomes deprived of their senses until they become a complete slave, you-know-what, to the digital machine. But Lee Zai also sent 603 Ether, worth $1.65 million, by the way, to Ethereum's burn address with some of the same on-chain messages that were sent to WikiLeaks. They also sent 700 Ether to a very specific wallet address, might I mention, and 33 Ether to an unknown grant provider address. In total, 2,047 Ether were transferred in total, amounting to nearly $5.6 million. Now, there's a lot of other interesting connections here that I don't think that I can necessarily mention on a platform like TikTok, but I do recommend that you dig a little bit deeper into Neuralink. I mean, do keep in mind, Donald Trump is creating a lot of relations with China right now, okay? Not only that, but have you seen the investments from SoftBank? That in itself should tell you enough. I mean, all you really have to do is just look into Boston Dynamics, you feel me? Because I promise, when you do, you'll understand the point that I'm trying to make here.
How about the nanoparticles in Coca-Cola products? Could they play a role?
The truth and the hidden secret behind cats. Majority of people in Africa today have been made to believe that cats are evil animals and they are associated with evil forces. Let's expose the truth behind these mythical creatures. In ancient Egypt or Kemet, one of the most divine animal was the cat, as it was depicted as the image of the goddess Bastet, who was the goddess of protection. There is something that people in ancient Egypt knew about cats that even majority of us are not aware even today. That cats, they are interdimensional beings and they are able to go into realms that even humans cannot access. This simply because cats, they have an elevated pineal gland that enables them to see between realms. By having an elevated pineal gland, that is when they say the theory of 7 lives of a cat. But the theory of 7 lives of a cat is a metaphor that means the 7 high realms that a cat is able to access. Having an elevated pineal gland enables their eyes to see spirits, element, and even energy, and that is why we say that cats have snake eyes, because their vision depends on intuition. Now, having a cat in your home is able to detect the presence of evil and energetic entities. Also, a cat is able to trap the negative energy and give you out the positive energy in your home. During the night, when you listen to a cat, you will feel like the cat is vibrating from inside. Now, what that cat is doing is producing a vibrational frequency that is able to heal and balance your magnetic field. And at that time that cat is vibrating, that is when that cat is trapping the negative energy and giving out the positive energy. Now you know.
I have 5 cats. They're all rescued. Operation Northwood, I think, has actually been used a bit later.
And y'all wonder where everything at in the damn stores and grocery stores. Man, people are ready for the world to end. We gonna talk.
Man. It just keeps going.
Look at this, y'all. Look
There's
at
a
this
ceiling
bunker,
fan
man.
here.
So many people in the world are living like this, and y'all don't even know it.
It just keeps going. Am I in
Trying to
Walmart?
tell you.
I don't know. It just
Look at this,
keeps going. Another ceiling fan.
They don't care if it get old or not.
And a thermometer, so you know
Don't
the
matter,
temperature.
right? Are they gonna
Another ceiling
expire?
fan.
You guys ready for the world to end?
Wow.
These motherfuckers is. Oh my lord. Jeez, look at this, bro.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Look at all this, bro. certified bunkers. Do you have a bunker?
This is my dream house. Let's just put it out there. Then this is like the cold storage. See, this is all concrete in here. And they have a fan. Man, these people are so smart.
That's crazy.
Okay, so I'm saying this and I'm so blown away. I bet you guys are like, why are you so blown away? It's like just storage. Because I see a lot of houses, okay? And a lot of people do not do things this
You wonder
way.
where everything was at? There it is. I'm telling y'all, bro,
There
so
it
many
is.
people are living like this. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. The people who is living like this, if you ain't got the guns to match all that food, you just bought all that food for somebody else. Like
Yep.
me and my family. Because that's what's gonna happen when it comes down to this. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. If you got a bunker, don't let nobody know where your bunker at. Because you're gonna come back one day and see my ass sitting in that motherfucker like, what's happening? Me and my people's here. With the motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? This is a great idea. You always gotta prepare for the worst. But I'm telling you, the rich is really like this. And y'all better get hip. You ain't gotta be rich to try to figure it out. Y'all right below, man, what you can do to survive a year underground. Y'all right below all you smart motherfuckers out there that be doing this type of stuff. Feel me? Me personally, I'm just getting started. Cause they got bunkers out somewhere. Y'all right there below too, where you can rent them. Yeah, these people already got their, it's like a vacation home. There's thousands and thousands of them. People been building these thousands of them everywhere, bro. The world is preparing for this. Now, this is where I'm at. I don't know if it's going to end. We've been having the scare since 2000, 2012. Y'all know all these different scares. And I guarantee you, this is probably a rack up from since then, bro. You know, motherfuckers been just waiting. They just waiting. So at the end of the day, that's why motherfuckers, a lot of people don't give a fuck who in office. They ready for this bitch to reset. You hear me? This is what it's like when you ready for a reset. You know what I'm saying? If you're ready for a reset, get your bunker up. You feel me? Because somebody's also ready for a reset at the top of the levels. You feel what I'm saying? Man, y'all comment below what y'all think, but this is wow, man. This is next level bunkers, man. If you got one, don't show people. You know what I mean? And I don't know how you're gonna need oxygen down there. It's gonna need a lot. Don't just think some old clubhouse shit. You know what I'm saying? For all you know, uneducated motherfuckers. I'm just gonna nah, my nigga. Radiation is what we're trying to stay away from if it goes down that way. Get your money up. That's what all the world about right now. Get your money up because there's some already made. Get you a spot. You know what I'm talking about? Because if it go down, you protect it. Think about this. What if they already know it's about to go down and everybody got the memo but us? And they like, shit, we're going to drop a radiation bomb, get rid of all these other motherfuckers who just don't get it. Y'all comment below. Cheerio.
Get your bunk up.
And just like that, y'all, it's not looking too good for Diddy. His lawyer just straight up quit on him. This man's lawyer just said, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Diddy Combs. Like, what? Do y'all know what this means? Do y'all really know what this means? He just made it worse for Diddy. He made him seem like he was hella guilty. Your man's just abruptly quit on Diddy at the wrong time. I'm telling y'all, it got something to do with Cash Patel. It really do. He seen that man become FBI director and he said, yeah, I'm not messing with that man. So he called up Diddy on the phone and was like, yo, what's up? Diddy was like, what's the word, my boy? He said, yeah, I'm sorry to do me like this. He said, do me like what? He said, yeah, I gotta quit. He said, quit? He said, yeah, man. He said, you know how it is, right? He said, no, I don't. I'm in jail. His lawyer was like, man, Cash Patel in town now. You know what that mean, right? Then he was like, Cash Patel? He said, Cash Patel. He said, fuck! His lawyer hung up the phone. All jokes aside, though, that's messed up, though. He quit on this man, y'all. Y'all know what I'm starting to think? Since all these documents is about to be open, is there a chance he go back into this Biggie shit? Y'all remember the rabbit hole goes deeper. We probably about to see a big-ass plot twist. Breaking news, they found out the real reason Biggie was...
I heard Diddy has necromancy in his case.
I'm going to show you how I time travel in real time. Let me show you this,
Get
guys.
out of
This is
here.
going to blow your freaking mind. I actually have to go into a more condensed area. Everybody wants to find out how I time travel. This is it, you guys. I do it through a portal potty. Let me show you.
Portal potty, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna time travel in real. All right, here we are, guys. Dude, I freaking teleported. This sometimes happens, guys, where I don't time travel, I actually teleport. Looks like I'm in like Yuma, Arizona or something, guys. Oh, dude, I'm gonna have to hitchhike back. I mean, it's beautiful out here in Wisconsin, but why the hell was there a porta potty way out here? It transported me literally all the way out here, guys. Damn, I'm gonna have to hitchhike.
It was blue when you went in and green when you came out.
This ancient Egyptian statue depicting Ramses II was discovered in the Temple of Karnak in 1824. It was acquired by Bernardino Drovetti, an Italian antiquities collector and diplomat, and it now sits in a museum in Italy. It's part of a collection of Egyptian artifacts known as the Drovetti Collection. Incredibly, the statue is over 3,200 years old. It's made of a blended composition of granite and diorite. These are two of the hardest materials on the planet, making it extremely difficult to carve, especially with the tools archaeologists have told us were used. Yet it stands at almost 2 meters tall and is carved with almost laser precision. How was this possible with only chisels and hammers?
Have a look underneath the bottom, it will say where it's made. Just kidding. The Duke home. The Ford, the Astor family, the Mellon family, Morgan family. You know, and in Europe, all of these families are new money in comparison. You know, like Rothschild, Bose, Lion, Benz, etc. The list is endless.
So around the world, they're discovering these Roman era mosaics underground. This one's in Italy, but then in other places of the world, they're finding them too. This one's in Croatia. I believe it's Croatia. I mean, they're underground. They built buildings and stuff on top of this. I think this is London. There's more. Like just in the city, they're just underground. And look at the detail of it. And the more they dig, the more they find them. How long does it take to lay these tiles? Like in Turkey here, even right on the water, even under the water, they're there. Does that say something about sea level, I guess? Climate change, or that won't be climate change. Well, whatever you. Then in Syria too.
Wow.
So they're scattered around. I mean, and these are like Roman era tiles. They're pretty cool design. In Morocco, this one's detailed. This one is deep.
Imagine how beautiful the world, used to be.
This guy started a cult of devout pothead killers who smoked so much hashish they were named after the stuff. Hashashins. In the mountains of Persia in the 12th century, Hassan-i Sabah taught his men to assassinate their enemies in broad daylight while stoned out of their minds. But one day, a rival says, "I'm not afraid of you. I've got 10 times as many men." Hassan shrugs, points to one of his guys, and tells him to jump off the roof. The guy doesn't hesitate. He runs straight off the roof and plummets to his death. How did the guy inspire such loyalty? Drugs. Very powerful drugs. You see, his men trained all day in a dark, windowless basement, abstaining from all of life's pleasures. Then one day, Hassan offers them a potion to drink. It's hashish mixed with a naturally occurring precursor of LSD. They wake up in a magical garden. There's food, there's wine, there's beautiful women. They can't believe it. But then they drink the potion again, and they wake up back in the basement. Shit! Hassan says, "That was paradise. If you do everything I say, you'll go back there again permanently when you die."
Wow.
So they were like, screw it. Who do I have to kill? Follow and subscribe for more human history on drugs.
Teaching us what they want in school. Thank you, bro. I love his content.
Feelings and emotions, they don't affect other people. So, you know how our common belief is, oh, if I get angry at somebody, they're gonna feel my anger.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I saw this video and it's breaking it down, and this girl, she's like, "I'm gonna shock you right now. Check this out. There's no such thing as outbound feelings. Your feelings towards somebody doesn't fucking exist." And she broke it down like this, though.
Okay.
She said, when you have anger towards somebody, that anger is there, right? They may see your anger, but do they initially or do they automatically feel your anger?
No, they don't. It's not like telepathy.
Unless it's expressed, unless it's shown in different ways, right?
Yeah.
Now let's say you have a feeling toward a job. Like let's say you love your job.
Okay.
Right? That feeling toward the job, it's gonna reflect in the work you do. But are the people around it necessarily feeling it intentionally? Maybe it may leak, but it's not direct, especially if you don't show it.
Yeah.
But what is 100% true and 100% happens is that anger you felt towards somebody, it comes back to you.
It's true.
You carry the feeling of anger.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you feel sad about a job, you're gonna carry the feeling of sad. The job's not gonna carry sadness. You're carrying the sadness.
Real shit.
Right? Because you can let go of it. If you have something, you can let go of it. But for you to say, I'm sad, that means that, so that's what you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to be that though.
That's true.
You can have it at a moment, but you're not that. You know what I'm saying?
In short, it's all about your current energy or feeling.
Easier to fool a man than to convince him he's been fooled. People do not seek truth. They seek comfort. They cling to their beliefs, not because they are right, but because they are afraid to be wrong. The chains of ignorance are light until the day you try to break them.
I don't know why people are so worried about, what color our Lord is. When we see him, we will be like him. His spirit, a soul without flesh. It will be the same, so don't worry about color.
I just made a discovery that will shock you to your core. All of humanity is about to stand in awe at this final moment. And no, I'm not exaggerating, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Did you know that life as you know it right now was manifested in the 40s and in the 30s, even in the 20s, of satanic rituals done in the California desert by some of the biggest names in the world? Walt Disney, L. Ron Hubbard, Jack Parsons, the father of our modern rocket technology, which he got from a weird source, by the way. We'll get into that. And so many more, because the secret is not so secret, even though you don't know what it is. Aleister Crowley, Walt Disney, Jack Parsons, they were all friends. Half of them work for our own government. But what in the world were they doing? I had to block out a word right here. A word that has to do with intimacy. They were using intimate rituals to do Babylonian workings, to bring forth a moonchild to rule the world. A moonchild. Conceived of nothing but witchcraft, literal demons and fallen angels were talking with these people. And they recorded every single word. And this moonchild, he will enter the stage, given power as the chosen one, and he will rule with a hand of liberty. But we'll get back to that. So first off, how was Jack Parsons able to get this technology that none of us ever knew? Well, Jack Parsons learned a whole bunch from Aleister Crowley, who they call the Beast. He was also the first person to come in contact with a Grey that he actually summoned. And all of these different guys were opening portals in the desert. When did the Area 51 thing happen? After they were opening these portals. These Greys have a lot more to do with everything than you really know. And I did tell you that Jack Parsons was working for the US government. Meanwhile, in talks with demons and fallen angels and doing this intimate magic in the middle of the desert. So why were the government's fingers in this? Because the government was awaiting a savior. And their savior looks like a man, but he has a very, very, very old spirit. Like most other visionaries, these people get their information and their technology from divination, higher sources, bigger than they are. They go to energetic ley lines, they draw sigils, and they do magic incantations, and they summon devils. The funniest part about it is most of the world thinks that demons and fallen angels don't exist, but the highest up in the government talks to them, and they have documented it. And it is really crazy the way it all connects. Like we have Dr. Werner von Braun, a tale of Project Mars, right? Of course, being the L, like the Elon, at Mars. And of course, we have that same guy being at a very high place in this world right now. But this is not about him. But I know you are dying to hear who this Moonchild is. So let's get back to the Babylonian working. The Moonchild was a thought conceived from the devil himself to Aleister Crowley. And this Babylonian working was basically the final key to get everything to lay out perfectly. The Babylon working Not the Moonchild was a set of rituals taking place from January to March 1946. It was a closing ceremony, if you will, for what was to come and what may be here now, where they documented how they conjured up these demons and these spirits, what they said and all of that stuff. And these kings of darkness would literally speak to these people, Jack Parsons and all of them, and they wrote down what they said. Therefore I, the Antichrist, call upon the chosen and the elect upon all men, come forth now in the name of liberty, that we may be forever, get rid of the tyranny of the Black Brotherhood. Get rid of the tyranny of the Black Brotherhood, what is that? Well, the Antichrist spirit that's talking to him told him already, it's Christianity. What a mighty fine inversion, isn't it? Their entire goal with the Moonchild, with everything, was to put an end to Christianity.
This is a
What do you think Washington, D.C. is in the shape of a pentagram?
real thing, but they haven't done it. Scientists say diamond dust offset climate change, so they sprinkled diamond dust everywhere in the sky.
Diamond dust? What does that do? Is it just like
reflects the sun, I guess? Glitter.
That's just weird.
And it does sound like.
So what do you think of cloud seeding? Oh, do I even want to get that started? Well, I'm just going to tell you this. My wife Andrew and I were at Sanibel Island this past weekend. We were walking the beach. Our throats got like all weird and we started to cough and it felt like toxic. There was a mist across the beach coming in off
fog. You've just been talking about
it.
this.
Looked like fog, but it made us cough and hack.
Well, people have been talking about this weird, they call it fog, but they're calling it weird fog. Some of it smells weird, some of it is making people sick.
That's super strange.
No, we were at
just mentioned that.
Captiva Island, walked out on the beach, and we were there for like 10 seconds, and immediately I felt it in my throat, and I started to cough. It like went into my lungs. It made me cough.
What in the world?
It was very strange.
I'm just getting you some diamonds, babe. Breathe in those diamonds.
Breathe in the diamonds.
They're doing whatever they want without the consensus of the world.
I heard the craziest thing recently about the president of France.
What's happening with the president of France?
Candace Owens has been doing this online where she has been researching the president of France and like I guess his family for I don't know if it's been a couple years now or like a year now. She's been doing extensive research on these people. What she's saying is this: the president of France, he is actually not married to a woman. His wife is actually a man who also so happens to be his father.
What?
And Candace was searching and she was like doing all this stuff. There was even a news article from the 70s about the president's dad that pretty much said one day he randomly just disappeared for a while and he came back and he looked different. There are no images of his wife.
What is that?
Not even just that, when she was a kid. Candace went as far as to start even interviewing people that supposedly went to the schools that she said she went to. All of the kids at the schools that grew up said, we don't even know who the that is.
Wow.
So basically what the theory is, these people are freaking insane, and the father decided to transition and became a woman, and he fell in love with his son, and they pretty much got married.
No way. Really? That's crazy.
Really?
I'm not even kidding. I'm going to show you a picture of his father when he was younger and a picture of his wife right now.
Yeah, bro.
Mike.
Dude, no, this is actually insane.
Come on, bro.
So you think he knows that's his dad?
He knows it's his dad. That's what people are saying. It's fucking weird.
Here's 5 dark facts about slave ships that they didn't teach you in history class. Alright, number 1, they use something called the tight packing method to maximize profits. So the concept is pretty self-explanatory, but to give you an idea, let's say there was a ship that was built for 300 enslaved people. They would try to fit 600 into there. The idea is to maximize profits, but also to guarantee them a certain percentage that survived, because they know that the trip over is going to be so bad for the enslaved because of the conditions that an average between 10 to 15% would die, sometimes even 20%. So they would try to get more people in there, which would sometimes make the conditions worse, making more people die, but they just figured that they would just have more just in case. The conditions in the hold for the enslaved Africans were horrible. So they were lined up in rows, laying shoulder to shoulder with no room to move, and then they were separated by layers, like a grid would be above them for the next layer, and altogether it was less room than a coffin. And because they couldn't move, they basically just had to go to the bathroom on top of themselves, and for the people above them it would just go down onto the people below. So it'd be feces, urine, blood, vomit all over the people and just the ship too. Not only was it disgusting and inhumane, but it was also very unsanitary, which led to a lot of disease, and it spread really quick because everyone was in close proximity. and the ventilation was basically non-existent, so people would suffocate to death as well. There was one British slave ship called Brooks that was legally allowed to carry 454 enslaved people, but their logs show that they carried over 600 on certain trips. Alright, number 2 is pretty morbid as well. So sharks would often follow slave ships across the Atlantic because the dead and the dying would often be thrown overboard. And researchers estimate that hundreds of thousands of enslaved Africans met this fate. And number 3, captains would sometimes drown their slaves in order to get insurance money. In 1781, a British slave ship named Zong intentionally threw 130 enslaved Africans overboard in order to get insurance money for lost cargo. So the way it worked back then is if you had an enslaved person on your ship and you needed to throw them overboard for a necessity, you could still claim that and get compensated by your insurance company as lost cargo. But if an enslaved person died on your ship from natural causes, that wouldn't be covered by your insurance and you wouldn't get money. So what the crew of the Zong did was said that they ran out of water and they needed to throw 130 enslaved overboard in order to save the rest of the crew. They could claim it as lost cargo, which is crazy. It ended up going to court, but the insurance company lost and ended up having to pay out. But it was later appealed, and then the judge actually overturned it, but no one was actually fined or jailed. Our number 4, oftentimes the captains would make the enslaved dance on deck as a form of exercise on long journeys. This would help prevent muscle atrophy and they could get a better price for them at market. Not only was it humiliating, but it was also brutal because a lot of the times they would be whipping them while they dance, and if they took a break or refused to dance or passed out even from exhaustion, they would also get whipped. And crews oftentimes went to extreme measures in order to scare the enslaved in order to keep them from revolting or to punish them for revolting. That included torturing them in front of the others and also taking off their limbs one at a time. There was one successful revolt on a ship called the Amistad, I believe. But yeah, they were taken from Africa and taken over to Cuba, and they had to endure that trip, which was really bad, but they got sold in Cuba to a slave owner. And when the slave owner was putting them onto a new boat to take them to the plantation, they eventually took over that boat, killed everyone except for 2 people and made them take the ship back to Africa. But of course, those 2 shipmates did not do that, and they took them to America, where they ended up getting arrested. That started a huge court case, and the Queen of Spain even chimed in and wanted them executed because that's the ship that originally took them from Africa was from Spain. So America almost did it at first, but then they kept fighting and they ended up going against it and freeing them. So that was one of the first cases where they actually were freed and they made sure that they got back to Africa. And I could do a deep dive on that story specifically if you guys want. And I have some gruesome facts about the Dark Ages coming out, and if you have a topic you want me to cover, definitely let me know.
Amistad was made into a movie by Steven Spielberg.
70 Christians were found beheaded in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I know that I can get involved in these conversations about interdenominational discussions and Catholic versus Protestant, but when it comes down to what really matters, I will always put the focus on this. Because the enemy doesn't care if I'm a Catholic or a Protestant. Catholics know this because Catholics are murdered all the time in other countries. And this is 70 Protestants. 70 Christians were discovered beheaded inside a Protestant church in the Democratic Republic of Congo's North Kivu province. The terrorists arrived in Meba, a village in the territory of Libero, at around 4 a.m. last Thursday and ordered residents to quietly get out. At least 20 Christian men and women were captured. Later, they captured 50 more. They then took them to the Protestant church, and then they were found beheaded. This story is about 4 hours old, but it's actually not that new or surprising. Some of y'all might get surprised and say, oh my goodness. But for those that have been keeping an eye on what happens outside of the comforts of our country for the last several years, then you're well aware of what's going on. It doesn't get talked about much, but Christians have been getting slaughtered for decades. So before you go to your prayers tonight worried about doctrinal disputes and how to get more knowledge, worry about the people who are in fear of their life tonight. The Christians who have no food tonight. The Christians who are worried that they might not see their family or their loved ones again. And while you have comfort and while you have safety, ask yourself, why am I not sharing the good news? God bless and go in peace.
The devil lost. Those people have been reunited with Christ. Jesus is God.
Copper relates to plant growth and water. such as hydration and the structuring of water. So it gets really interesting. I did a whole bunch of talks on electroculture and how copper can increase your yields for your plant growth in your garden just by placing copper antennas into the soil. And it's interesting because they always tell us to put iron tools in the soil, which leads to rust and a lot of heat and a lot of dryness. Whereas copper helps increase the electrical conductivity and keep everything in the soil nice and wet. A lot of the times too, people are lacking circulation. Copper can help increase circulation. This is why everybody used to wear jewels and necklaces and all these different things all around their necks and on their ears and all these different places of their body. They were enhancing the meridian lines of their body, and each different part of the body has a meridian line that you can enhance. We are one big electrical crystal is what we are. And when you squeeze the crystal and you create a piezoelectric effect, or you compress the crystal, you get electricity, which helps turn on that meridian line of the body. One of the 7 sacred planets is Venus, and Venus is connected to copper.
Kenny Veach.
My mug is 100% copper.
He would go hiking and exploring all throughout Nevada and California near Area 51, and he found this cave. And he said it was shaped perfectly like a capital M, and he started walking close to it. And he said his whole body felt like it was vibrating. He said the vibration in his body was so intense that it scared him, and he ran away. And then he talked about it on his YouTube, and everyone's like, oh, you gotta go back and see what it was. And then there's one comment that said, do not go back there. If you find that cave entrance, do not go in. You won't get out. He ignored it, bought his girlfriend. He's like, I'll be back tomorrow. Gonna camp out there. Never came back. And they don't know where he is.
He's just dropped off the face of the earth.
They found his car that was like a couple miles from the cave, but they have not been able to find him. People theorize that it was an entrance to Area 51.
There's something weird in Nevada. 51, the Lovelock Cave, the hole, the cave that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just weird supernatural stuff that happens there.
He was in major financial debt. They might play the role.
Oh, you're gonna love this one, the shampoo conspiracy. Something that you use every day, but do you know who's really behind it and what it's really doing to you? Disclaimer, the ideas presented here are not theories. They're all verifiable facts. So you go over to your local grocery store to do some shopping and you realize you haven't washed your hair in over a month. It's time to clean up. You head to the shampoo aisle and you're met with dozens, maybe even over 100 different options to choose from. Quite the variety, right? Surely you can find a brand that's right for you. Well, my friend, what if I told you that 90% of these shampoos are all owned by the same 3 to 4 mega corporations, all of which have one common top shareholder. This is the shadow shampoo oligopoly, and they're all kind of working against you together. So here are the top 20 or so most popular shampoo brands in America, and they're all owned, or at least partially owned, by these 4 mega corporations. But there's nothing really wrong with that. I mean, these companies are worth hundreds of billions of dollars, so they definitely must put the customer first, right? Oh, my starry-eyed little friend. Let me introduce you to a very simple business practice called going public. So when you start a company, you begin as what we call a small business, a little family-owned mom and pop shop that brings some sort of product or service into the world. As you grow, you hire more people, make more money, and produce more incredible products or services to your customers. Now, I'm gonna dumb this down a lot, as there's so much more that goes into this, but I won't bore you with the details. This ain't a business course. But to keep it very simple, eventually most companies who want to make it big hit a wall, where they're not able to grow more because they lack the money required to invest in that next big thing for their business, whether it be more employees, more inventory, new equipment, bigger advertising budgets, etc. So they take out loans, look for sponsors, investors, and venture capitalists to get that money. But sometimes even that's not enough. So in order to get a lot of money really fast, they go public through an IPO, an initial public offering, which basically means their company is now going to be traded on the stock market. Now, being on the stock market means you no longer fully own your own business anymore. You're trading small percentage ownerships in your business called shares to the public in exchange for cash. If that company proceeds to grow and make more money, the value of its shares go up, and the people who bought them make a profit, either through dividends or selling the shares. Now, both people and other companies can invest in publicly traded businesses by buying their shares on the stock market and are called the shareholders. So you gotta realize, these companies that go public sort of now have 2 different categories of customers they have to serve. They have the consumers who actually buy their products or services, and now now they also have the shareholders, who have sort of become customers of the company as well. You following me so far? Now here is where it gets interesting. The regular Joe Schmo shareholders like you and I don't really make much of an impact from our couple $1,000 or whatever that we invest in these companies. What happens is giant investment conglomerates invest hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars into these companies. Investment firms like BlackRock and Vanguard, who sort of become these super mega customers of the companies they invest in. And these companies must now do something called please the shareholder, or else these giant investment firms pull their funding these companies now rely on and put them out of business. Pleasing the shareholder usually means the company now has to get their consumers, that other group of customers they have that actually buy their products, to buy their products or services as often as possible, so they can increase how much their company is worth, known as market cap, by whatever means it takes. Sometimes even to the ultimate detriment of the consumer, so the shareholders stay happy and keep their money in the company. Stock market 101 for dummies. So we went a little bit off the rails just now. Let's dial it back. Oh yes, the shampoo cabal, the 4 megacorps that basically own almost every shampoo product ever, all of which are of course publicly traded companies on the stock market. Let's see who the top shareholders of these companies are, shall we? Procter & Gamble. Oh, look at that. Vanguard. Unilever. Yup, that's Vanguard. And Johnson & Johnson. Well, what do you know? Vanguard. Meaning these companies' top customer isn't the person using their shampoo, but rather a $1 trillion investment conglomerate who by definition is literally only concerned with profit. L'Oreal is actually pretty well balanced and are still technically majority family owned by, of course, a billion-dollar family, the Betancourts. But you can see their top shareholders are also big investment firms, and oh look, there's Vanguard again. Now, we're not done yet, because pretty much all of these companies have all been involved in major lawsuits due to their shampoos making people's hair fall out, drying out their skin, damaging their hair, and many other reasons. Class action lawsuits that they've resolved through settlements, meaning they basically admitted, yeah, our bad, our shampoo might have done that, so here's some money. But wait just a minute, if their shampoo makes people's hair fall out, doesn't that mean they're gonna stop buying shampoo because they're not gonna have any hair to wash anymore? Well, these same companies also make all the products that allegedly make your hair grow back, hydrates dry scalps, and fixes damaged hair. Nioxin, Procter & Gamble, Rogaine, Johnson & Johnson, you get the drill. Products that are inherently more expensive due to their medical properties and that the consumer will have to buy more often to benefit from its effects. Welcome to pleasing the shareholder. Now, I'm not saying that every publicly traded company is this evil mega corporation that feeds on your soul, but I can tell you, if any of these companies ever have the option between getting a consumer to buy something once in a while versus forcing a consumer to buy a much more expensive product all the time, you can bet they're choosing that one. And just apply this logic to what happened in 2020 and 2021 and you'll start to notice something. Okay, I'm gonna stop now before I get in trouble, but huge shout out to this legend Ian Carroll for bringing this to light. He's the one I learned this from, so definitely him if you want to learn more. At the end of the day, remember to shop local and support small businesses, because those are the ones that really do have your back.
Well, who owns Vanguard and BlackRock? Awesome content, by the way.